Because there's nothing that you can look at that is not you. There is no time and space. Because you're looking not with the mind of comparison, you're not looking with the mind of judgment or conditioned, you are looking. And that which is looking is not you, the personal you. It is just looking. And the moment you realize that there's just looking, but there's no one looking, you understand. But understand what? You see? That there's only is. And that's called love. Because if you hurt another, you're just like punching yourself. If you rob of another, you're robbing of yourself. But if you give to others freely, you receive. You see? And there's nothing richer than giving. Because giving is immediate receiving. But if you think of gaining from what you do, then the personal comes back again. And then the pain comes back again. You see? So this is the paradox. So what makes one thing against another? Bhagavan wrote his mother, "This is my destiny." Because his mother can only understand that kind. You see what I mean? I can't help doing what I do, Bhagavan wrote, because this is my destiny to be on this mountain. It's a fact. It's truth. But in reality, he's not obeying anything. He's not obeying anyone because of his destiny. He knows there's no other choice because that's what is. You see? So there is destiny and there isn't destiny. Because in the overall, there's nothing. There's just what is. And what is fine, because what we think our will and the will of that which is are both the same. Sometimes we say, I wonder what the will of God, not mine, but thine will be done. Sounds great, really. But in truth, it's redundant. Because there's only one will. You're always doing what God wants you to do. But because you carry the agenda of smallness, you perceive wrongly. Do you understand? And you perceive with judgment, with comparison, and so you see small. For example, oneness. Can anything be more beautiful than oneness? My God, you know, there's nothing that is not you. How can you walk more freely and more at peace and more contented than walking in oneness? But yet, when you look with an agenda, that oneness is horrifying. Because you feel lost. You see? You feel you, who I think I am, the small person, is now lost. And that's loneliness, that's desolation, that's deprivation, that is poverty, that is pain. You see? That is fear. But these things don't exist in reality. Only truth exists. So a master who talks from the ultimate sense, says there is no reincarnation, there is no karma, there is no destiny, there are no masters, there are no teachers, there is no gurus, there is no students, there is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing but existence itself. Nothing exists but existence itself. That is the ultimate truth. Jesus could not teach that 2,000 years ago because they wouldn't understand. So he talked in parables. You see, in the New Testament. And Buddha said it outright. You see? Buddha never used any, he just said it. Right off, there's only emptiness. You see, Bhagavan says there's their only self. And of course, same thing. When Jesus was asked, but you are great, you are doing all these things. He said, no, not I, but the Father in me doeth these things. You see? So there's only one thing, the oneness itself, acting as if it is you acting. So there's only one will. So whenever you forget yourself, not forget yourself because there is no self to forget, that's just is. So when you act from this isness, which I call peace of mind, okay, which can never leave you once you realize the truth, when you begin to live from that, then you never see any separation. And that is the ultimate understanding. Now, if the same master would talk to an individual, then he would listen to the voice, the tone, the question and the person, and says, this person is still in his mind. So I'll explain. Yes, there is karma. You have to be careful how to think, because there is cause and effect, and there is this and there is that. You see? And he'll explain it that way. So therefore, to that person, there is separation. There is the teacher, the student, the master, and there is the student. But in reality, there's none of that. But because he sees that separation, then the teacher talks in a way that he will understand. And that's why they said that Jesus, when 2,000 years ago he talked in parables, because there was no way that they would understand. You see? And this is why, for example, the prodigal son, he gave a story when the son... You know the story of the prodigal son? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. You don't? You don't know? Oh, you don't know the story. Well, very, very briefly, there was a rich man, and he had some sons, and he had a lot of land which they were going to inherit. And they all were very faithful. They all stayed with him. They all obeyed what he said and everything else. But one of the sons was a rebel. And he wanted to experience the world. And he went away and he slept with whores and he drank and he did everything worldly. And of course nothing worked. And he said, no, the world doesn't work. He came back broken-hearted back to his father. Oh, please forgive me, forgive me. You know. And the father says, blessed are you. Because, you know, because the one who sees the error of his ways is far greater than ones who never done, the one who never did. You see? So that's the story of the prodigal son. Jesus gave that story, but what it really means is that we are born with an ego, thinking we are a person. And when we begin to realize that that doesn't work, and if it doesn't work, that means it's not real. Then we go back, like the prodigal son, and saying, I'm back to that which I am. You see?